Okay, guys, let's be entirely honest here. There has been not nearly enough videos of me trying to have sex with disabled women, so we're just gonna get you that exact thing right now because I know that over 300 million thousand two of you have been wanting that. So let's continue. I already read this, I think. I'd better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for your company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I'd say. But that's probably just relief getting rid of Rin. Maybe. That's really cold-hearted. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. Well, that was a really interesting place to come back in where not a damn thing happened. Cool. I'm on the next part of the game. I am prepared to fight challenges such as dragons and other humane sounds, and none of that's gonna fucking happen, is it? The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people that have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mewtwo lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people here who enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at a desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Shizun aren't present, probably doing their telepathic powers somewhere and ruining the fucking world. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she's making it up for Shizun's lack of voice. So, basically, bitch be cray. Nakai, could I speak to you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mewtwo approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but if I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. After all, we do have 8 minutes and 4 stocks to make this happen. Mewtwo stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he's trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So, tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Mewtwo to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now. How are things? Well, there's this one bitch who's actually deaf, and she uses a translator who's extremely way too talkative, and it's kind of strictly annoying, and she tried to force me onto the student council through playing a game of Risk, and the thing is, I really like Risk, but I'm not really that amazing at it because I just turtled in Australia, so I kind of get my ass kicked, and I wasn't really sure if I should say yes or no to her proposition based on how she was teaching me how to play. And then there's this one blind girl who I'm pretty sure can't see that my chin would actually cut diamonds, so whenever I smile at her, she doesn't really understand exactly what I'm trying to convey and meaning to her, but she's kind of really nice and sounds like she's from Wisconsin and doesn't really understand what's going on, but at the same time, she's got this lighthearted, cheery reservedness that basically makes me feel like she's plotting to murder everyone secretly and then giggle about it while she becomes super yandere. Then there's this one fucking chick who has no legs and she's become the fucking bionic commando, and I swear to God her husband or wife or whatever sexual preference she has been infused into those bionic peddlers so that she can fucking foreskin her way down the runway. I swear to shit, she's like a bionic cheetah wrapped inside of an enigma given a granola bar and some hot 5-hour energy because she just does not keep bounding and bounding and going and going. And even then when she tries to encourage me to do the same thing, my heart just acts up and explodes and kind of just fucking, ruins my whole life. Then there's this one girl who doesn't have any arms and she speaks with a terrible lisp and she paints murals with her mouth and her feet and she does just interesting work, and granted she's a really cool artist and that's not the point because the point of it is that she's extremely weird and just has this awkward sense of humor, and granted I could totally go for that. Hell, if I were to get a bunch of my friends together, then we can sit by the lake and tell jokes about our dicks until the cows come home, but the fact of the matter is she has a vagina so she can't even qualify. And then finally there's this actually kind of normal cool girl who's half burned on her face, but for some reason we're delaying the inevitable when I eventually find out about it, but she is the one true love of my life, and basically I'm just figuring out now that I can have my pick of any of them because that's how games work. I mean, fine, I guess. I see. How is your condition? I paused before condition. Seemed a little unnecessary. I haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Mewtwo's face. Good. That's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you a level of education that you would get in a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know what those limits are, and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess, I mean, I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up while I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Because, you know, all I did in the hospital was monologue and complain. Mewtwo taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there that realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, granted, I've been reading dialogue after dialogue trying to beat this fucking game and get to the side quests so that I can be a world conqueror, but hey, we got something going on. Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta keep up with things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. And I capitalize next big and thing to emphasize how big this next thing is. I'll keep that in mind. It's so obvious that Mewtwo's serious talk, see, I also capitalized serious and talk, is over. And he's back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach in life. I think in hindsight I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's go back inside, shall we? Hopefully Misha's in there so I can slap her shit. My relief is at the suggestion is insurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mewtwo passes for a moment. Or pauses. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't think any of the students have ever said that to me before. For an instant I consider replying to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and suck his dick. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they were working at the questions on the board. Some didn't even bother, that had slumped on the desk as they napped. Thankfully, it would appear Mewtwo doesn't even notice them. He returns to his desk and retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got him there. The class returns to a near silence that Mewtwo and I left before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is waiting for the chance to rest or the chance to get the last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away until finally the bells cry out, ending my torment. Before you all leave, I expect those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issues at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and quickly try to finish the questions so I don't have to bother over the rest of the weekend. With the festival tomorrow. Apart from me, Hanako is the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect her moving around is at least nominally hard for her, but it's none of my business, and I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else, so an oppressive silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of her novel. My pencil leads splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for the sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly in the other direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Her name is all that it takes to make Hanako jump from the desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves them down the hall and I go idly back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hana go out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom and yes, come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading in the library. She must have picked up some burn cream for that fucking wound. I don't know, that's not even a joke, Jesus. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? Seems quite out of the ordinary, going by Haniko's reaction. Shizune is getting powerful. I try to resist her psychic temptations, but sometimes the forces of evil just can't be put at bay. Ah, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before Rin bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon make me yearn to get out of school, or at least do something other than sit here. Giving into one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decide that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday, or a Monday, or any day other than this one, except Arbor Day. Arbor Day's the shit. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of the seat. Where I obtained a Halo enemy, I will never know. Briefly debating with myself whether or not to go hang out with Kenji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with others kind of person. Really? I guess I'll just catch up with him later. Changing tacks. I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something I can do to go kill time. I am so going after that bitch. The library seems a good place standing to go. Hanako looked as she was taken pretty off guard by Lily leaving. Might want to someone to talk to. Slinging my bag over my shoulder, I make my way out of the classroom. I walk down the hallway to the library, past a multitude of closed doors. Through each one of the sound of the furious rehearsal can be heard. Rock music blares of one door almost as loud as a concert. I guess that's one of the advantages of a private school. I'm done with that voice. There are actually enough rooms to go around at a time like this. And when I think about it, the grounds for buildings and pretty cool. It can't be that cheap. But I've heard the place can be pretty serious benefactors. The walls of the library are partially insulated, but the noise of the festival preparations, but only the sounds to be heard. Not a soul stirs, not even a mouse. Yuko isn't here either. Maybe she's working with Mai and Mi-chan at her high school. God, I love Yuko. I quietly walk through the library to a familiar spot, Hanako's private corner. I run my hand along the spines of the books, feeling the individual textures and grants cost titles. I used to do this all the time at the library and the hospital. Some things never change. War never changes. Like the smell of the library. No matter how much you tear to take, the paper and books is always going. This is so fucking useless. Thank you. My God. I'm gonna tap that so hard.